Hello, welcome to Tuesday's tarot tutorial video. Today I would like to talk about the tarot cards that can be interpreted differently from their typical definitions, which may be considered somewhat unusual. In this video, I would like to pick out examples of taking an alternative approach to reading the Ten of Wands, the Queen of Swords, the Six of Wands, Three of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, and Three of Wands. The traditional way of reading the example of the first card, the Ten of Wands, would fall into the realm of normal interpretation, such as the burden of responsibility, suffering at the hand of success, carrying a heavy load, doing it alone, or even exhaustion. We see this figure, he's sort of hunched over, and he has all of these wands that he's carrying, his head is down, and he definitely appears to be taking on quite a lot here. So going a step further than the definition of exhaustion or a burdensome responsibility, we could say that this person in the card has reached the point of burnout or possibly has the flu. And this flu could possibly take him out for anywhere up to 10 days. So that's a possible alternative approach to reading this traditional card. So the standard definition for the Queen of Swords is typically a divorced or widowed woman. Although she is intelligent and discriminating, she can be also distant and somewhat stern. She gets this association because of the upright sword that she holds in her right hand, indicating that she is willing to take on any challengers. And honestly, this queen has the ability to cut someone to shreds with her words if she is provoked. A creative and unique way to see her would be possibly from the sword in her hand as being an extension of her physical characteristics, such as a woman with unusually long and manicured fingernails. It's possible. She could also be seated while viewing a television or computer, with her sword being this side angle of a flat screen. I did see this vision of the Queen of Swords sort of looking into the television one night as I was reading cards, and it kind of tripped me out. I was like, wow, this is a definite, different way of looking at this queen that I never had seen before. So moving on to the next card, the Six of Wands is typically the hero card who has just accomplished success in his endeavors. So he has this wreath of victory on top of one of his staves here in the cards, and he is literally sitting on his high horse above an adoring crowd. So since the horse is typically a vehicle for movement and travel, you could alternatively look at this card as this person riding in an expensive luxury car or vehicle that has the envy of onlookers. So that's one creative way to sort of see this card. The next card is probably my least favorite in all of the tarot deck because it indicates heartache, sadness, and emotional pain so acute that it can sometimes physically be felt. Sometimes it can even represent a heart attack. So whatever form it represents, it's sure to be a very unpleasant experience. The image of this card shows the heart in the middle with three swords piercing right through it. And it is known that the swords are not only weapons that poke, but they are also the cold, hard facts that can be representative of the mental realm of logic and mental processes. which is thinking, writing, speaking, communicating. So this alignment of the Three of Swords could alternatively be seen or viewed as a melodic musical note or instrumental trios that are harmonious and touch the heart with its beautiful sound. Sometimes the most emotionally moving music is written by musicians stricken with grief and melancholy. And there is this common saying that beauty is pain. So this could be sort of an unusual way of looking at this card as well. The next card is the Ace of Pentacles, which tends to represent material things, items, possessions, money, or tangible people, places, or things, right? So things in the physical world. Pentacles represent tangible things, and aces represent either newness or new beginnings or singularity. Therefore, an unusual but kind of neat, actually, way of looking at the Ace of Pentacles could be seen as a one-time purchase. The pentacle in the middle of this hand could be money, and the ace as seen as a single or one-time event. So it could be like a one-time expense or a bill, or maybe someone is, buying, an item and they're leaving the store with this thing in their hand. So the next card that I want to talk about is the Knight of Wands. And it's common to see this Knight of Wands as a fiery, dynamic, adventuresome character who loves the thrill of the chase and exciting opportunities. He must love the outdoors and traveling to new lands far and wide. But what else does he do? The character cards can all be seen by more flattering, positive attributes or less desirable ones. So in some ways, he is optimistic, friendly, and confident, which is generally seen as his good qualities. In his less than admirable qualities, he can be arrogant, impulsive, impatient, reckless, and even rude. He's just sort of a thoughtless character that just sort of acts in the moment without really thinking about the consequences or the repercussions. This is not a judgment, it's just an observation. So it's possible to even imagine why he could be galloping toward or away from something or someone. So, for example, a creative way of seeing this card could be that he is running away from an establishment where he didn't pay for the food, such as dining and dashing. Tisk tisk, Knight of Wands. So lastly, we have the Three of Wands, and this character has just accomplished his first vision. He manifested his desires and has profited from his efforts. This card's basic meaning is success and business ventures, receptivity, action, and hopes for long-term plans. So an unusual way of seeing this card could be as broken promises or contracts. Since we only see the back of this figure, it's possible that he has literally turned his back on us. So maybe he is looking out for his own self-interest, since he is a solo figure depicted in this card. It's important with tarot to look at the basic meanings of the card first and have those really memorized so that you can build upon these definitions to add a little bit more life and color to them. Imagination really animates the deck, and when doing readings, this helps strengthen your intuitive power by allowing yourself to read beyond the colorful splotches of ink that we see in the cards, to having these characters move and be in these circumstances of action and see them in a different light. This definitely brings the cards to life. So, of course, in order to intuit the cards further than the traditional meanings, you can and should look to the surrounding cards in the spread to play off the other card meanings. Otherwise, you could just end up making up stuff without really any context or influencing energies. However, it's really good to practice by journeying into a card one at a time and seeing the character in their environment, seeing them interact with the things around them and move and have this sort of fluid nature and flexibility. So if you look at one card at a time, then you can read them next to the other cards to see how the energies really bounce off of each other. So I think this is what I wanted to share for this video. Thank you so much for liking and sharing my videos and for subscribing to my channel. I'll see you in the upcoming tarot tutorial videos.